Hi, it's Karen, and today on my channel I'm going to show you how to make these very cute little candy mason jars. They're a great Halloween embellishment for you to use on any of your paper crafting or party favors, and I'm going to show you a couple different versions of the mason jar, things that I've been creating because I've been having a lot of fun with it. The first thing I would like to tell you is my mason jar does come from a set called just Cannery Set. It was one of the first dies for the Big Shot that were the Thinlits that Stampin' Up! Had offered. And I really was happy I got this set, especially since mason jars are so popular right now. And then there was a matching stamp set that went with it called Perfectly Preserved. And this is one of the stamps that is in it. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different, well, not a bunch, 3 different ways to make these little candy jars and give you some other ideas of things that you can do. So one of the very first things I did was I took a piece of white paper and I stamped it so that I could cut out some mason jars with the lines in it. And then I also took, it's from Spooky Bingo Bits. It's also a retired Stampin' Up! Set, and you might be able to find these things on eBay. They might be pretty pricey, but look at all the cute little stamps that are in there. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll be using these, and I'll be also using a lot of items from our brand new catalog that will go live. I believe it's September 2nd, so keep watching, and I'll give you all the up-to-date information, including a few sneak peek projects that I do with some of the things that we'll be offering. And let me continue now, or I'll talk about Stampin' Up! All day. So I took my Memento ink, which is another item that we sell. If it's something that we don't sell, I'll just let you know, because it's easier than telling you everything that we do sell. So these are Stampin' Up! Stamps, but they are retired. I did give you the name, so if you want to look into getting those. And the Memento ink, yes, we carry. So the next thing I did was took 2 of our punches, and I'm going to just put one of these here so you can kind of see what I am doing and it starts making sense. So I took the 1-inch punch, which is this one, and I just punched out candy. So you can see how stamping can help you get images for your embellishments, so you don't have to not have words or phrases or anything like that. So I have those 2 punched. Then I took my 1 1/4 inch round punch, and I also punched a couple of circles, and I'm just doing a few extra to use up my scrap. We're not going to use all of those today. And I have my mason jar. And I also have a different pattern of paper. Again, all this is from Stampin' Up! And I am going to cut one of the black lids so you can just see how that goes. And I also need, well, I'm going to do a black lid and an orange jar. But you can cut multiple layers depending on the thickness of your paper with your Big Shot. And I hope I can get up close enough for you to see this. Most people have a Big Shot or know how to work one. But for those of you who don't, I'll just run that through. I have my platform, my magnetic platform, my cutting pad, my basic black cardstock, and my Tangerine Tango cardstock. and you line up your plates and you just push that until it starts to turn your handle a little bit. And then when you're done, super simple, and I find it to be a lot of fun. You have your 2 different color mason jars. You can probably do 3 layers with pattern paper and 2 layers with our cardstock, because all of our cardstock is 80 pound. If you buy cheaper, thinner cardstock at one of the craft stores, you might be able to get 3 layers out of that also into your big shot. So now I've got just a couple little things. I've got these jars, and when I do things, I like to have a lot of pieces just laid out, and I just kind of play around with them and see how I like the different combinations. So if you don't have the little Halloween stamps, you can use little 1-inch round stickers. And then I had this cute spider that was a sticker, and it's got the 2 dimensionals in there. But I did find on my silhouette another spider who looks very similar that I'm going to use in my thing. But again, if you don't have a silhouette, you don't have a spider punch, you could just buy some stickers and use those in your embellishment too. There's no reason why you can't just kind of mix and match things. So at least until you can get your big shot or a silhouette, which I absolutely recommend if you ever think you're going to get into this pretty far. So for the spider one, I took a black base. I took one of my stamped jars. I took Stampin' Dimensionals. These you get 300 for, I believe it's $4, and I cut them all in half, so I get more like 600 in a package for that price. And then I took my paper snips to cut them in half. I'm just going to cut some extras because we need them. And you also have this little edge around there that you can cut up to different shapes and sizes to make into more dimensionals. So I really like the Stampin' Up! Ones for that. And I took, and I just put my dimensionals on the back. Instead of using 4 whole ones, I only used 4 halves. So I only used 2 total. And I just stuck that on there. And when you see how easy and how fast you can make your own embellishments, you will start looking at the ones at the store a different way. I kind of look at them when I go now, and I take pictures so that I can see ideas that I'd like to try to make myself. And I do make them so much cheaper, and it's so much more fun to make them. So I just always do now. So now you can see how I popped up my jar, just like the original. And another thing I like is our dimensionals aren't too tall, so your stuff isn't like sticking way out away from your project, and it just kind of like looks like you stuck it on there and it didn't really belong. So then I took and I just put a little bit of my Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive, and I glued a spider on, just like that. And with the Tombow, you can easily move your things around. You don't need a lot, and you don't need to get glue on every bit of your spider. He's going to hold. And then I took 2 more of my dimensionals, and I'm going to put one in the middle. I'm going to put one on each side. So even though I don't have the dimension that the spider sticker has, I'm still getting dimension in other areas. My jar's dimensional and my spider is not. And I kind of like that because then it seems like he's like inside the jar instead of on the jar. So a little bit later, I'll be putting some baker's twine on top, but I want to just kind of keep things moving. So these are my 2 spider jars. And then I'm going to do the black jar with the little hearts. So I'm going to take my black jar. I'm going to take my heart punch. This is from a 3-pack. It's like itty bitty punch pack. And you get 3 different punches in it. And I'm not sure, but it might be $16. And I'm just going to cut out or punch out a couple of hearts. I only need 2. Or you could use 3. And this would be so cute for Valentine's Day too, but I'm having fun with Halloween right now, and my passion is really making the embellishments. I like making cards, I like making projects, but I really just love making embellishments and seeing all the neat combinations that I can come up with. So I'm going to glue my little hat on again, or bonnet, or lid, whatever you would like to call it. And I'm just going to put that on right like that. You don't have to put a lid on your things. You could leave them and have like flowers coming out of them, or leave the lid off and just use it for a different reason. But for the Halloween ones, and probably when I work on my Christmas ones, I will add the little lid to it. So on this one, I did have 2 layers of the black, and I could put orange on the back of this, but I'm just going to leave it like this. So you can see you don't have to double up. If you're on a tight budget and you still want the look, you can still do it without having the 2 layers. If you're doing it for a party or something, you might not want that many layers, just to kind of keep it easy to manage, especially if you're having a lot of people. So I took one of my dimensionals and I put it on the back of the heart, and then I put one little heart down flat and wiggled it to how I liked it. And then and don't use glue that wasn't made for paper crafting, because it's just going to make a giant mess and you're not going to be happy. So then I took a dimensional and I just popped up that little heart. But you can see they're both just as cute, even though one is only 1 layer and not popped up like the other one. And I'll put ribbons on, or little twine on that in a little bit too. All right, now for the candy, candy, candy. So I showed you that I had different patterns of paper. They all look similar, but I do like having the different ones. And my papers were all from Stampin' Up! From past years. Again, we won't know what our current things are until September. So I'm going to go ahead and just make my little candy jar. This one's just all 1 layer. This is great for a card. It's great for a little party favor. It would be great to put on a tag, a little gift tag for a package. So I glued my hat on, and then I took my 1 1/4 inch circle and the little candy that I had stamped. On the back of this, I stamped a mason jar, but it was too close to the edge, so I couldn't use it. Our white cardstock is super thick, so you won't see through it. You can flip it over and use the other side, and the only person who'll know that you did that was you. So when I work upside down, I kind of have to move my stuff so I can see it to get it centered. Okay, so I have my candy, my jar, my lid, and I'm going to take dimensionals for my label for the jar, which is the candy. And I'm just using 3/2, so 1 1/2 instead of. If you put a big one in the middle, that would be okay, but your edges, if you're going to do something where you mail this, are probably going to get bent over and it's not going to look as nice as it does when you first make it. So I've got that in the center. And it's just that easy. So let me show you how I put my baker's twine on. And I'm only going to do it on a couple, but you can then see what it looks like with and without. For me, it's all about the extras and the detail. But you don't have to use as much detail as I do. I just really like it. But after a while, you'll start to say, oh, that looks really plain. And you're going to start wanting to do the detail also. So anyway, I wrapped my twine around a couple of times. We sell the baker's twine in all sorts of striped colors, but the white one is just a solid white. And you tie your bow really, really tight so it doesn't come off. And you snip with your snips, and you snip. Okay, so see how cute that is? And I'll put one on this one because this one's popped up, just to kind of show you that it's okay not to, put a lot of layers if you don't want to, or you can't, or maybe it's for something that doesn't really need a lot of layers. So I wrapped that around a couple of times again. And I made my bow. A trick to getting a straight bow is when you do your, when you go to make your little loops, take the piece of twine or string or ribbon that's on top and wrap it over the bottom one, like over your loop, and that'll help to keep it straight. I know a lot of people, when I do my classes here at my house, they all want me to tie their bows for them. And I keep trying to teach them, and one day they'll get it. So anyway, these are all my different ones. I had a ton of fun with it. I hope you will too. And just another word, I will sell the images, the stamped images, or even the die cut pieces for you to make the same items. Any of my stamped items, I do have to I can put it on the back, a copyright that it's a Stampin' Up! Set stamp, but it won't hurt your designs at all. And I can do that for you. I do these jars very inexpensively, and I will be making some kits up for you to make your own as well. But for instance, the jars, I just sell the little paper jar already made, just the piece. The printed ones I do for $0.25. These I do for 35 cents, the stamped ones. And the lids for those I do for 10 cents. So very inexpensive to get the little parts that you need. If you have any questions, you can certainly message me. And you can find me on Facebook at Stampin' with Karen for more information or to contact me. So thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed my mason jar embellishments and you try to make some soon. Thank you.